480, your name and where you're calling from?
Nathan. I'm calling from Mesa, Arizona.
Hi, Nate. Can you close the window or whatever you're on? I hear a lot of wind noise.
I did close the window, but I have to. If it's still too much, maybe I should call back another time.
I can't even hear what you're saying over all the noise. Like quite literally, all I hear is the noise and your noise.
Yeah, hold on 1 second. Is that better?
That's a lot better. It doesn't sound like an airplane engine next to you anymore.
Yeah, old car, so even if I put the windows up and everything, it doesn't really make a difference. So,
well, that's
anyways, I totally don't go, for readings or I believe in a couple things in my life, but I'm having a bit of a problem getting to the next step and following through with my duties and obligations. I guess I don't really even know where to start. Maybe I'll let you go ahead and start.
How long have you been listening to the show for?
About 10 minutes.
About 10 minutes. So, what did you hear on the last caller that made you want to call in?
Specifically, you guys were talking about sleeping paralysis. When I was 19, I had a bunch of bouts of sleeping paralysis, and people say astral projection, but I'm very, very scientific, and I guess in thinking, and the last experiences that I had, I didn't separate from my body. I actually just levitated out, and I've never found anybody, searching on the internet or anything like that, discuss actually, feeling the pressure of the sleeping paralysis come on, and then getting past the fight or flight, thing, and then embracing it. And then instead of, you floating up and seeing yourself, you're actually floating up, and you're actually levitating, like same feeling that you would have if you were in water. Or
I understand what you're saying, and I'm reading your energy as you're talking, and what's going on in your life right now is a representation of actually part of the past life experiences you had. And right away, I'm drawn to the Lemurian existence it's like written all over you. It says in big, shiny neon letters going blink, 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 I'm a Lemurian scientist. And the Lemurian scientists mixed spirituality and science into a perfect format where they created a civilization that reached out to the stars and reached out to the galaxies and reached out to the multiple universes. It was a time where Earth was the center of science and spirituality, where many of the other species in the galaxy were just science, quite literally. And this lifetime that's coming through you is asking once again that you go through the personal vision quest where you mix spirit science into the original form that is you, because you're here this lifetime to connect to the past life of the Lemurian spiritual scientists, quite literally. I mean, this is going to be hard for you to accept, but you've been doing out-of-body travel. The awake you is just unaware of it. You're actually quite an adventurer. I mean, it's written all over you. In your dream worlds that you're unaware of, you travel to other worlds, quite literally. And your purpose is to go to these other worlds and find crystalline entities that are knowledge keeper stones. And you're assembling these knowledge keeper stones so that any of the soul groups that function with you would have access to these knowledge stones in your dream time. So the whole point of the Lemurian scientists was to create an energetic field that was around them, that other people can dream into and experience the knowledge that you have as the total soul being that you are. You understand what I'm saying?
That sounds pretty interesting. I've never heard of a Lemurian scientist. It's something I'll look into now.
You're not going to find it. You're not going to find it. You're not going to find that anywhere, simply because that is the specific view of the specific time in the Akashic records. I read Akashic records, and what it is that anything that's ever lived on Earth is a part of the Akashic records. And when I meet a person, I download their Akashic records, and I'm fully aware of the entire being that is the person that's you. And the entire being that's the person's of you, it doesn't just live here. There are many sparks of you spread over on many different planets and many different star systems, quite literally. You're what I would call a sixth-dimensional being. You're not a fifth or a fourth. You're a sixth-dimensional being who's invested one spark of his entity into this world with incarnation rituals and soul contracts that's made you a part of this environment. But there are still other versions of you still completely function and fully aware of their soul. But there's the you that's here that's not fully aware of the soul. And all these other pieces, parts of you, have been trying to communicate to you in different forms and different functions through your dream world, through synchronicity, through the science that you learn, through the people that you meet. Quite literally, they're trying to expand you so that the you that is here now during the change is able to take all the other parts from other places and unify them during the change. Because that's how you evolve your soul. Your soul is on a vision quest to become a seventh dimensional entity. That was the whole purpose of the Lemurians. They were to raise their vibration until they reach the ninth dimension, where they can choose to form their own sun. Like literally, you become a sun, and then you invite other soul families to be a part of that sun, and then other soul families make planets around them, and those planets take the DNA wisdom from the high-dimensional being who's lived lives all over the galaxy. Your soul is on this verge of going through this final change, but to do that, you have to go through the galactic ascension machine that is Earth. This is where you get your PhD in the School of Hard Knocks. When you graduate here, the awake you that's here has learned everything that his soul has done, as well as the history of Earth, and then can apply it to being a brand new being that's unified all of its pieces parts through the galactic ascension machine.
It sounds all pretty interesting. It sounds like exactly what I'm doing with my website, and trying to get everybody to come together and do their Kachina dance out on the corner of the road. So,
what's the name of the website? Give it a plug.
Tooltreebot.com. Tool like a hammer, tree like the tree, and bot like botany or robot.
Okay, if you're in the chat room, why don't you just type it in?
I can't, man. I'm on the road here, and I can't put it in the.
That's cool.
Through the.
Anyway,
but,
Tool.
Thank you, man.
You're welcome. Do you have any other questions?
No, I just, I just need to get my gear and do all the stuff that I've been talking about, follow through my duties and obligations, and be a man like I'm supposed to be.
All right. Well, I've got another caller. If you want to call in another time and get a little bit longer reading, anytime, Monday, Tuesday, Thursday, Friday, 2 p.m. to 4 p.m. out on air, doing readings for whoever calls in.
Thanks, Andrew.
All righty, take it easy, guy. 480, your name and where you're calling from?
Hey, it's Nathan, Mesa, Arizona.
Hey, how you doing, Nathan? How you doing today?
I'm doing okay. All right. Getting ready to take a run to the landfill, and found a giant scorpion today, the biggest one I've ever seen. I think I'm going to give him a new home at the landfill today.
Okay. What kind of scorpion?
I don't know. He's a big one. He looks like he doesn't like being in the jar that he's in anymore. But, yeah. Anyways, I called in, last week, and, I can't remember exactly what you're saying, and towards Me, my general person, I think you let me plug my website, and the terminology you used, you said that I couldn't really look it up. I couldn't really find it on the internet or anything, but it seemed to ring true, and I just figured I'd call in and maybe get the listeners out there as well to know that there are people out there that are doing what needed to be done. And I was watching Willy Wonka's Chocolate Factory, the first one, with my daughter today, and I was thinking about it was the part where he was handing out the everlasting gobstopper, and all the kids, had been talked to by the secret agent guy to divulge on what, on the secret of how to make it and everything, and that's planned obsolescence right there, the everlasting gobstopper. He made that so that poor kids all around the world could always have something sweet or whatever, and it would never go away.
A classic service to others story. And what I was telling you, what it's called, a service to others story. And being a service to self, a service to others is very important in this world. And what I was telling you last week is you were called a Lemurian spiritual scientist. It is where you blended spiritual concepts and scientific concepts and went beyond metaphysics. And that's where you're at now. And you could keep talking and talking, but really what it's up for you is to stop talking and understanding that you have an earth connection, and that earth connection is to the stone people of this world. And the stone people of this world are quite literally the record keepers of this world. It's for you to stop what you're doing in your life and understand that you need to be quiet in your head. And one of the things that's going on with you right now, this is written all over your energy body. I mean, quite literally, it's like you've got caution tape all over you. I'm having an awakening. That's what your caution tape is saying. But you have to understand that your body is screaming this to those that are psychic, and you need to tone that energy down. If you don't, you're going to have a point where the energy is going to separate into two, and you're going to lose this awakening moment. You're at this point where you quite literally need to quiet your brain and understand that there's a spiritual side of you that is deeply, deeply connected to the earth right now. And that earth connection is flooding you full of information. And you need to take this information and slow it down and begin to translate it from its high speed mode into a slow speed mode so you can physically write it. You're at this point where you cannot talk it out anymore. Talking it out is actually being dysfunctional for you. You've lived so long in this high frame, fast forward energy psychic style that it's beginning to break down the mechanics of your spirituality. You quite literally need to do the metaphorical Buddhic thing. Stop moving. Let the silence exist. If you don't, you're going to grind your gears, and you're going to have no teeth left to change the transmission from one gear of spirituality to the next. And you're going to have a very difficult time in your life if you don't slow down. So the next thing here is, you understand, is what the information the stone people are telling you is about your life, so you can relate it to others, so others that relate to you have an understanding that we are all one in this world. We all run in this interactive, co-creative environment of Earth. The matrix of this world is wanting us to stay at fast forward. You have to disconnect from it. No matter how hyper invested you are into your website, if you don't stop, you are going to have a car crash. And if you have a car crash, the information will stop flowing, and you will find yourself in a point of writer's block, spiritual block, boyfriend, girlfriend block, daughter block, where you won't be able to function with them. You won't be speaking their same language because your mouth will still be moving at fast forward, but your spirit will be going, I don't know what else to say. And that is a separation that's coming because, quite literally, just like the other caller, you need to be on a pilgrimage. You need to disconnect from the world and take the journey, and the journey is about letting the crap go, and when you get to the spot, you deal with something else. And then the journey home is about knowing you're going back to the crap with a new set of coping skills. And then to repeat that process of journeying. In this lifetime, you're meant to go to place of power after place of power after place of power and bring your energy there. To stop at this place. Example, Sedona, Mount Shasta, any of the places of power, the Serpent Mountain in Ohio, the Newark Mountain in Newark, Ohio, Newark, Pennsylvania. You need to go to these physical places and allow your energy to exist there so that once again the stone people, which are your medicine of this lifetime, can open up to you the wisdom of action. You've been in action and action and action. You haven't allowed the action to turn knowledge into wisdom. You have a tremendous amount of knowledge. And there's a vital difference between knowledge and wisdom. And you're stuck in the knowledge state. You need to be in the wisdom state, because when you're in the wisdom state, you will reach out to 10 times the audience of what you can now. Do you understand this?
Well, I think I definitely continue on absorbing knowledge. That's something that I do have a lot of, but
you're at the point you cannot absorb any more knowledge. You're going to grind those proverbial gears, metaphorical gears. You've filled. It's like you've got a hard drive that's 500 gigs, and you've got 500 gigs of all zipped files. And if you open one zipped file, the whole system crashes. You've got to clear some of it out, because you're not meant to know everything this lifetime, and that's the wisdom. The wisdom allows you to have a whole new way of encoding, so that you don't need to use a zip file. You don't even need to use a hard disk. That's where you're at now.
All my life I've been real frustrated that, about the understanding parts, like why can't people understand the importance of getting the knowledge? And so then I put all my energy towards talking to people and projecting out to people, like the same thing my dad does. And I think you're right. So this is the practical application time. Is that what you're saying?
Absolutely.
Or
practical application in the field. Get out there and apply. And you're going to be opened up to whole new layers of wisdom. And that wisdom is going to be based on all this knowledge you've been downloading. But like I said, you've got 500 gigs of zip files on a 500 gig hard drive. If you open one, you'll crash. And when I say crash, that means you're going to lose a significant amount of energy. So really for you, it's about stopping the talking for a few days and going into yourself and start saying, do I need all of this information in my awake brain? And the answer is no. You need to download it into your cellular memory so it's not 100% empowered anymore. It's like moving your files into an off-computer hard drive archive. And that's what you need to do now, so that the processing unit that's your brain has room to function. So you need to go through an off-system archiving, and that's the best way I can describe it for you. And going to places of power will be the perfect opportunity to begin this archiving moment.
Yeah, I think everything will work out as soon as I stop jibber-jabbering and doing the stuff I've been talking about doing all these years, because hopefully enough people just see the demonstration and the action and I guess what's the word? They just by gravity they're just kind of pulled to it and want to. Hopefully, a few of them will do the same thing that I'm doing.
Well, I'm gonna let you know. You are waking people up.
I hope so.
But you can wake up 10 times the amount of people if you just slow down and started processing this stuff. I mean, like I said, You've got this caution tape on you that says, I'm going through an awakening. But it's like that old metaphorical sign. You walk up onto a door and it says, out to lunch, be back in 10 minutes, and there's no time that they left. That's what you're like. You've got a sign that says, be back in 10 minutes, but it doesn't say what time you left. So for every
somebody
person...
did that the other day. That was really annoying. Anyways, all right, man. Thanks for taking my call.
All right, you're welcome. Call in again when you want. Nope. And we got our next caller. 480, your name and where you're calling from?
Hey, it's Nathan again from Mesa. Hold on just a second. You were, before you started taking calls and you didn't have any, you were talking about the trickster.
Mm-hmm.
Were you about to start talking about that again, and then I interrupted you?
No, the trickster was for a dream energy. That was for a stream read. And the trickster energy is something that when it comes up in the stream read energy, it's about understanding that there's opposition on the horizon, and that opposition can come at you from a self-deceptive, self-destructive, or self-humorous side. And that's known as the Heyoka. And the Heyoka is the trickster of the self, but there's also an external Heyoka who comes into your life and can destroy things because you allowed them into your sacred space and allowed them to do things to you by giving them your power to have power over you.
Okay. Yeah, I can definitely see that. My father is really big into Native American history and is basically he's trying to get a big book published about grandmother Spider Woman, and I don't know if you had visited my site before, but the main aspect of it is to get people to go be a dancer, like a kachina dancer, out on the corner of the road. And so when you lined up the trickster as a dancer, I was just wondering your thoughts on that, because it's been kind of like a conflicting thing for me my whole life, going through this, and even before I decided that this is, well,
you have to come to an understanding that a dancer exists because of ritual and ceremony. There would be no dance without the drum, and there would be no drum without the dance. And there's a male and female interaction into the rhythm. And then when one comes into the kachina concept, the kachina is where the dancers put on ceremonial garb that represented oral tradition of those people. And the kachina's purpose was to represent how the gods interacted with man through ceremonial expression of story. And just as I was saying that before, tones was a twisted hair. The twisted hairs were the ones who told the stories, and they are also the ones that control the rhythm and pace of the drummers and the dancers and the story being told. So to have a kachina dancer sitting on the side of the road makes no sense without the ceremonial energies attached to it. So the big advice for you is to go and to sit in ceremony, to understand the whole purpose of the expression of the story was to remind you how the gods interacted with the people, because it was all passed down through oral tradition, and the oral tradition was the truth. It was not embellished. And that's a common misconception among white eyes that try to come and understand what the red souls are expressing. Because when one comes in with the science to understand spirituality, they fail. But as I said before, you are the mix of the science and spirituality person. You are a Lemurian spiritual scientist. You are truly meant to blend all of those concepts so you create a whole new level of metaphysics. And you're at the very founding level to that. And you must pick up a drum. You must pick up the ceremonial dancer for you to express about that stuff, yet you have not experienced it in ceremony. And that's the disconnect that you have now. You don't have that ceremonial drum time. You do not have the time of the fire. You do not have the great shaman singing to the four directions, calling out to the all of nature. We are alive and a part of this ever co-creating world through expressive prayer to all of the different sentient species that live in here, from two-legged to four-legged to creepy crawlies to the finned ones to the fish to the winged ones. All of them need to be called out in that ceremonial expression. And as the ceremony reaches to its point of its highest reverie is when the dancers come out and they take all all of those energies that are called out to the four direction, to all the sentient beings, and they bring that into their feet and they begin to dance in the same rhythm and pattern and rhyme as the drummers. And this creates the connection to the heartbeat of Earth Mother. It is a very powerful understanding that the heartbeat of Earth is in the heartbeat of each and every one of us. It is very similar to when you are in the womb and you hear the heartbeat of your mother bouncing through the embryonic sac. And this is the heartbeat of Earth Mother that exists in every soul of this lifetime. And it is our purpose through ceremonial and ritual dance and expression of drums and music to connect to the heartbeat of Earth Mother, so our footsteps are in conjunction with the heartbeat of Earth. And one is that is in the expression of this ceremonial time is the creative uniflow of this world. And the creative uniflow of this world is forward projection of life force connected to Earth. That is the purpose of ceremonial time. And those that do not have ceremonial time must create their own ceremonial time and learn how to tap their foot in rhyme with the drums or the cymbals or the rattles, so that they can stand up and dance and express themselves in a co-creative manner that allows you to interact with the world of the spirits and the world of man, knowing that all worlds are layered one over another. We experience each world individually, yet each world is exactly the same, simply layered on top of each other like transparent paper.
Yeah. But you see, that's exactly what I feel I'm called to do. Not stand there out on the corner, but to actually celebrate and do a dance out there and have that space. The one thing, the nice lady that was talking before, she was, you asked her about the 60s and she was saying love, would be, and how do we get that to happen amongst the general public? And my father had me read a book about the Hopi, and I think I learned from that two names, the Bahana, which is kind of like the word for the bad banana type of white man, and the Pahana, which is like their long lost white brother. Mm-hmm. Does that sound about right as far as what? That's
correct. My question to you is: you ever gone to any of their ceremonies or rituals?
My father has. He's done a lot of that stuff, and we have a big kind of disconnect because he. I don't know if it's his ego or his work that is keeping him from participating with the family or whatnot, but he's been a bronze sculptor and architect his whole life, and I aside from all of my experiences with hallucinogenics when I was younger, no, I haven't been a part of their thing, and I would hope to. I've also read a lot of people who think that they're like the individual Pahana, almost like they're the individual Messiah or Christ or something like that,
and those are people that are truly disconnected from the ways because they haven't had experienced the ceremonial time. And you're at this point, you need to experience the ceremonial time so you may go through the spiritual adoption. Are you in the Skype chat? Are you in the chat room?
Nope, I'm not. I'm not. But maybe I could send my information to you. Is that why you're asking? Maybe we could.
Oh no, I'm going to put something in the chat room here, and it's called nameandhod.org, and that's how you get spiritually adopted into a tribe, and how you get to go and learn their rituals and rites, and it's not easy, and they do charge money, and the reason they charge money is very specific. There has to be an exchange of energy. The $250 is absolutely nothing in compared to the education that you're learning. You learn the ritual dance, you learn the ceremony, you get to do the sweat lodge, you get to do all the ceremonies that are a part of the family. And that's what you need in your life, separate of your father. You absolutely need to separate from him so you can have your own co-creative experiences with them. There's a reason you're deeply attached to these messages, because you have the heart of the red man. But the red man inside you hasn't experienced the heartbeat of Earth Mother, which I was talking about before. And once you experience the heartbeat of Earth Mother, your whole perception of the universe changes, quite literally. You understand to be dancing is to be a part of the earth, to be a drummer is to be a part of the earth, to be the ceremony is a part of the earth, and to be all of those at once is to be the whole co-creating factor of the ceremony and unified dream. Because many dancers dream their dances beforehand. They dream their costumes beforehand, and that's how they empower themselves with power of the self.
I certainly have done that. Because I'm not in the chat room, could you spell that out for me?
And it'll say www.nemeahaa.org.
Okay. All right. Thank you. And you know what a sundog is, right?
Yep. This is something that the moon does. The sun.
Actually, during the daytime, when you see like a rainbow, coming from the ray of the sun hit a cloud or makes a little sundog. At least that's what I was always told it was. Well, I know there's a lot of human signs out there getting paid for money to wave a sign for like buy gold or this or that.
Well, that's the thing.
But
you can't possibly understand what the sundog cycle is not being in ceremony. And this is where let me finish. This is where many people in the Native American cultures get very angry. If you've never experienced the ceremony, you do not have the perception to understand what the sundog means to those people. And what you're doing is experiencing the prism of understanding separate of the ceremony, so you are still using a cultural perception. And for as much as you think it's 100% correct, it's 100% wrong.
Oh no, I really I don't know what any of that means per se, and I wouldn't claim that I would. But in practicing, because I didn't know if I could actually get out on the corner of the road and do something like that. I did actually do it for money one day for some housing development, and this weird thing happened. As usually a sundog is just a spot in the sky, but I had, instead of just spots of rainbows, I had like 8 circular rainbows basically form on top of me in the sky right above me, and it's really weird. Really just kind of kept it with me. I had no idea what it means, and I would never claim to.
That's a message from the universe to you. Wake up, find your spiritual side, go to ceremony, because if you experience that from the ceremonial perspective, it will speak infinite volumes of information to you. It was a reminder to the inner soul that you can't understand the meaning of that message without the ceremony behind it. And it's saying to you, you need to go in the ceremony so you may experience this once again. There have been spirals in the sky that were created in Norway. There are other sundog moments all around the world, each one meaning something different to the observers from the different lands that there are. And the type of land that you're on now is very important, that it has a tradition behind it. And even though you are born of a different family this lifetime, there's a soul within you that's a part of that tradition. And you must express it. You must learn from it. You must be a part of it. So the next sundog moment that's there, you understand it through the prism of ceremony. And so understanding it through the prism of ceremony connects you to the heartbeat of Earth Mother. And once you're connected to the heartbeat of Earth Mother, you understand Earth's heart. quite literally.
Yeah.
And when you come from the perspective of Earth's heart, we are all a universal species. We are all one being, and we can love each other enough that we can let go of ignorance and intolerance and live in a world of peace, love, and unity and wholeness. We can manifest the fifth world of peace and allow the Rainbow Warriors to coexist among all species. Because you are a Rainbow Warrior, whether you know it or not.
What do you think of the conflict amongst the tribes right now? Is it with, I guess you could say maybe the progressive influence of the tribes?
Each one is dealing with their own soap opera, and each of those soap operas are a modern culture that really didn't exist in the past. And as we white people begin to return to the land and try to learn, even if we don't practice their way, just try to learn, they will begin to learn to let go of their own family dramas. But there are many, 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 many of them that have no drama, that live in peace with the world and are open to the reception of others to come to learn their ways. And every culture is suffering that around the world right now. It's about letting go of the pain of the world and returning to ceremonial time to honor the spirit beings, to honor the sky brothers and the sky sisters, to understand the creepy crawlers that live in this world that are sentient beings too, to give honor to the Great Spirit and the great mystery that lives within the Great Spirit.
Oh my gosh. You remember that scorpion I talked about?
Mm-hmm. You're honoring the creepy crawler. You're honoring the creepy crawler.
I let him go, and I found this nice little spot. I didn't take him to the landfill. I found this nice little spot on the side of the road because I felt there's too much activity and the guy might get squashed or whatever. But man, he kind of I let him go, and he crawled right down into this little hole. It was so cool. Anyway,
that's great.
Thank you.
You're welcome.